Yo, yo. This episode is going to be talking about domestic violence, me sharing some of the situations that I dealt with through working through creating my safe havens, and just individuals that one of them I thought was my best friend, portrayed himself as my best friend / brother since 2002. I, didn't realize that I was in the middle of a entire dysfunctional, silent, orchestrated gang of predators. And what kind of started the whole predator hunting thing, and why I decided to spend my time sorting them out, exposing them, putting myself in situations to attract them so I could put them to sleep. Like I said, no defense. I had no sort of weapons. I had no sort of defense. Whatever happened is what, like I said, I was very unhealthy in the way I would approach the situations, because I felt like the police departments everywhere just pretend to fight crime, don't actually really want to do anything. It's all by choice. And I do feel like that's true, because the Supreme Court passed that they're just pretty much supposed to protect and serve the land and the laws, and like protecting citizens is a bonus. That's why a police officer, you could be getting robbed and a police officer can drive right by you. They don't have to stop. They don't have to respond to emergencies. They will if they choose to, or if there are good ones that do believe in helping others, but it's disguised as a brotherhood, and all they do is protect each other. Anyway, it does apply to domestic violence, because domestic violence is a huge issue. And guess what? I was kind of reading up on domestic abuse reports, in the police department, that there's a lot of police officers that commit it and get away with it. A lot of the domestic violence are being committed by police officers in the home. It's just nobody takes it serious, because they hold a badge, again, protected by the blue wall. The blue wall of silence is real. I don't care. It's not just on TV. It's real life. I actually met a police officer that was, I stopped talking to him because I didn't know he's a police officer, first of all. Once I found that out, that was the first strike. Second, third strike is he said, "Oh, I gotta go to trial tomorrow to get on the stand," because he was in the middle of a police brutality lawsuit. And he goes, "I have to lie and say, get on the stand and lie and say, we didn't beat him up and this and that, and it was in self-defense." And I was like, he's like, of course we committed brutality, but we can't say that. No, I'm not making this up. He was so proud of himself as he's getting dressed, and as I'm like gathering my stuff to leave. I was so sick. I'm still sick about it. And he really, like I said, just really proud of himself. You're sick. I wish I could have recorded you and gone to your trial the next day. Anyway, I want to talk about domestic violence because it's very near and dear to my heart. That's why I have this. First of all, I've experienced it a lot, but like I said, it's an epidemic. It's an epidemic that I'm here to terminate as well, somehow, some way. I just feel like if there's any woman out there that comes across my video somehow that is in a domestic violence situation, first of all, use all the grace you can on yourself. I had no idea that I could get myself in a situation like that. I had no idea about manipulation, totally oblivious to Stockholm Syndrome and being brainwashed. I had no idea I had such a twisted sense of loyalty and love. Again, you do learn a lot from your childhood. I already had a weird childhood. I already had a brother, an oldest brother, who was a weirdo, creeper weirdo, and would always apologize, you know. And like, even he, one time, I think I was like, I can't remember exactly how old I was. I'd have to focus on the memory. I want to say it was a water, he hung my water baby, and I walked out in the garage one day, and my favorite doll I just got for Christmas, I remember it wasn't too far after Christmas, is a water baby. And I walked out into the garage and I saw it hanging, he hung it with a noose, with a knife through it, and I saw the water dripping out of it. And he's like standing in the corner in the dark, basically telling me that if I told anybody about what he really does when no one's there, that I'm next. I want to say, if I had a water baby, and we lived in Illinois. I moved there when I was 5, when the weirdness started. He just kind of tortured me. My first memories of him just haunting me in the dark and just being really mean to me and breaking my toys. My dad talks about him burning me with cigarettes, catching him burning me with cigarettes as a baby. And he like talks about it, and it's like, so you did nothing. You did nothing. He set the garage on fire. He began being mean to the dog because the dog liked me more than him. Well, no wonder. You're like demonic. Like I said, he hated me. He still talks about how I still stole his dog. And it's like, dude, you stole my life. It's just it's weird. So anyway, I'd like to just start this off 8 minutes in. It's might be all over the place because this is a very touchy subject to me. But anyway, I'm gonna get to my advice. If there's any women out there that has experienced domestic violence that live in fear, you need to have a plan. First, rule number 1, step 1 is believe in yourself. Without it, your fear will hijack your thoughts. Never underestimate their ability to trick you into one last talk or one last chance. Unless it's a video chat. See what they have to say, or just ignore it. Try to do your best to ignore it if you have gotten away. I want to suggest to anybody, if you can in your free time, one movie that really helped me get my power back in certain situations. I love this movie. It's called Enough by Jennifer Lopez. She kicked ass in that movie. She did not listen. She protected her child and her life. She took her power back. It's a badass movie. But it just goes to show how much planning, how much training she put into it. Like, I don't suggest you just, packing up and leaving. Like, because that's more dangerous. All I'm saying is try to do your best to be careful about your moves and work on your poker face. But there is a way out. You are not stuck. Work on your defense. Believe in yourself. It is a scary world out there, but there are resources that will help you. It's hard to find, but it's out there, and that's another thing what I'm doing. I personally come across abused individuals and I help them get them out. Kind of like the Underground Railroad. Not being funny or nothing. That's what I do. And I have lost. I'm going to talk about that. A situation that resurfaced that I thought I buried, but I didn't really process it. I mean, there's really a lot. Like I said, it's gonna be a long video. I got a lot of things to share. No, they always want your fear. It's all about taking your fear and your control. Learn how to fight. Like for me, I started learning how to punch, and I started watching boxing videos. And I'm not sitting here like intensely training, but watching that, and it's gonna come in handy later. You know what I'm saying? Watch self-defense videos in your, like I said, when and if you can. If you work, talk to an employer. Find somebody you can trust that can help you. It takes a village, and I know it's hard to find because a lot of people don't want to get their hands in stuff. I will help you come up with a plan. Reason why I got this tattoo. I worked at a hotel for about 5 years. That's a messed up story. Met a chick named, her name is Tiffany Greer. She was the coolest. Oh, she was so just a beautiful soul. Made some mistakes, of course, we all have. She's human. She had a daughter who that was the light of her life. That's all she talked about. Do anything for her daughter. She worked her butt off to provide for her daughter. We kind of started bonding a little bit and then really confiding in each other. And I had just left a domestic situation and kind of bonded over our piece of shit people we ended up being involved with. I mean, he would choke me. He would kind of put his hand on my throat. He was more verbally and emotionally abusive. Like I said, I was already like vulnerable. So he like exploited the weaknesses, every single weakness. Like he knew my brother strangled me when I was 10 years old to the point where somebody had to rip him off of me, or he would have killed me. His name was Chris Moore. Love that dude. Just so happened to come over that day and walked in our house. I don't know what made him just walk in. He's never done that before. And he beat the shit out of my brother. He never came back around. My brother. He'd watch out for me, though. Check on me. I'd always see him riding his black, a Ford Taurus. Old school. Decked out. Loved him. So I, the guy I was involved with, he, acted so enraged and this and that. And he was, but he used that to control me. Like I said, had a twisted sense of loyalty. And he, made me feel like I had started doing drugs with this group of people after I was raped at, how old was I? It was actually my 17th birthday. It was my very first time. I did at first want to lose my cherry. Did want to lose my cherry at first, as I thought that was like the thing to do. Then the guy was he was on top of me. He was just extra rough. When he held my arms down, I was like, I don't like this. Stop. Can you please stop? Can you please stop? He wouldn't stop. He said, oh no, you done started it. And he just got rougher. Like, he was so rough and big. He, like, ripped me. I thought I was never going to stop bleeding. You know, I thought your cherry was popped. You know, you bleed. That's what I thought a cherry pop was. Come to find out, you don't even really have a cherry. Like, I was like, okay, feels stupid. But I just remember in the tub, like, in the bathroom at the house we were at. It was like a trap house, basically. Only I didn't really realize what the fuck I stumbled upon. And, I wanted it to stop. It hurt so bad. I never thought I would heal. And then he bragged about it. Like I said, I didn't even know what rape was. I just know I didn't feel good after that. I was different. I knew it was wrong, but like I said, I didn't know what assault and rape was. I was 17. Like I said, none of this is a sob story. I'm not a victim. I'm a warrior. But, like, I'm just bringing awareness and showing proof that no matter what, you can still have the glow. You can still smile. Life is still beautiful. I'm not going to allow these monsters that I've come across steal my life any longer than they have. I have lived in fear that these certain individuals are going to come sneak attack me. So I stay, or just anybody. They're going to send people after because I know who they are. You know, my brother loves a sneak attack. But I ended that fear when I was pregnant with my daughter. He came after me to fuck with me because I know he was going for my baby, my belly. I laid his bitch ass out and told him that if he ever comes after me or touches me again, he knows who I know, so he might want to think twice. Because I knew some killers. I never witnessed them do anything, but I just knew because of the heavy artillery they had hidden in their house. They were not... like I said, you just started putting the pieces together. I mean, there was a drive-by one night. I knew it was going to happen. It happened right in front of me. That's how I knew at one point I was... you cannot tell me I'm not a true chosen messenger. Not the type that's the social media or that's being taught. I'm talking real, following some real forces of protection. This was an automatic weapon. I don't know if it was an AK-47. Honestly, don't know that much about guns. I don't even know if an AK-47 is an automatic weapon. All I know is this car kept creeping around, and I had a vision of the drive-by, and I'm telling everybody, I'm like, hey, there's about to be a drive-by. Everybody's out in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful night. They're like, laughing at me. You know what you're talking about? I'm like, all right. I saw this car creeping around again, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm out of here. And then I wouldn't even call him my boyfriend. He ended up seeing me leave because I wasn't even gonna say nothing to him. I'm not going back inside to say nothing to y'all. I'm getting the fuck out of there. Next thing I know, I look to my left. Here comes this car again. It's creeping even slower. They're looking for somebody. I knew they were looking for somebody. Next thing I know, they started shooting. It just kept going. The bullets kept going. They drove right in front of me shooting. The gun never stopped. Not one bullet hit me or my vehicle. How is that possible? I'm not making this shit up. I'm not delusional. I might be crazy, like a fun crazy. I'm not delusional. I still to this day just felt this invisible force field that, like I said, there's no way that gun never... I still replay it in my head to make sure that gun never stopped. And there was 4 of them in the car. Dude, I don't even remember. I don't know the name of the car, but it was an old school car on rims. One of those old school bodies. Like an Impala or something. I don't know. I just... And... I'm not sure where I was going with that. Let me get back on the domestic violence. My Tiffany. Oh, that's where I got sidetracked because I met my individual. That was, I met him through my best friend brother. Okay, it was his cousin. Anyway, back to Tiffany. The very last time I saw her, because the hotel ended up being sold. It was just a bunch of bullshit. Me and her were one of the last employees there before I completely left. I think she stayed after the new company took over, but the new company did me wrong, so I dipped out. But anyway, I remember we're standing outside on our, and we're talking, and I was telling her about my exit story, about I was finally done. Because the fucker made it seem like me and my daughter were gonna come live out there with him, and he was fixing this place up for us, and this and that. So I'm investing in the move. I didn't have any, it's just a lot. I don't even want to, it's still a messed up situation. Ended up finding out he completely scammed me. Known him since 2006, so it wasn't like something that I just woke up and did. Anyway, she said she was finally ready to leave him. She told me some horror stories. I mean, he ripped her up. And like, I'm not even gonna compare our situations, but I don't ever feel like the person I was. I mean, he might have, but I never felt like he would take my life. Like I said, I don't know for sure, but with her, it was a completely different situation, because he was completely, extremely aggressive and violent. So it wasn't like something she could just pick up and do. Anyway, so I'm not saying I convinced her to leave. I'm not. I just know that after I left the hotel, we kept in touch. I remember one of the last conversations we had through text message. And, she was telling me she was finally going to leave him. And I was supposed to come see her at the hotel, but life kept just happening. And I never got a chance to go see her at work, because I feel like we could have talked about the situation, and she wouldn't have went to have that one last talk with him. I could have went with her. I could have helped her make a more methodical plan. I found out. That one last talk. He shot her. Killed her. And shot himself. And here we go again. I blame myself. Not even to make it about me. It's a beautiful loss of a life. A child without a mother. And it really fucked me up. It fucked me up so bad I couldn't even get her name on the tattoo. Yeah. I just wanted to commemorate her because I was so busy, with my life and other things. I had so much going on. I had my Erica. I'll tell you about her. And like I said, I bit off more than I could chew, and I was trying to balance everything. And her death has haunted me, not her. She wouldn't want me feeling like this, but this is what I said grief does, and just trauma. What it automatically does to you, sometimes without you even being aware. I was frozen in time. Here goes another loss that I am punishing myself for. Every time I would laugh too much, a really harsh voice would come in my mind and remind me of all these things that I've done and that I fell short, and it would rip it away. So I'm just out here really trying to make some noise because I refuse to stop talking about it. I refuse to stop helping people. I will not turn a blind eye to this. If I could put on a cape and be Superwoman and fly around and just swoop up these women and children, or even men, or who, mostly, no offense, I'm not saying I'm not a supporter of men. I'm just saying, I wish I could, especially the children, I wish I could just swoop them up and just take them to a safe place, because there's, and I know a lot of it is because of the people in power playing with our brain chemistry. It is causing this. I know it's causing the aggression. I know what it is. And I know how to fix it. But I need help. I need people to understand that I'm very serious. You will not continue to keep doing this to our women and children. Keeping them trapped, men who are doing this. You can't tell me men are the answers to fixing our problems when they caused them. Look at the presidency. We've had all men. Look at the planet. Look at it. Everybody hates everybody. Everybody's killing each other. There's countries that people may get bombed today, tomorrow, who knows? That is not what? I don't care who it is. I don't care. I would look any one of those motherfuckers dead in their face and end them. I'm saying, charge them. Do something. I wish you would do something to me. Because I promise you, if you did, you're going to drop dead. I wouldn't even have to touch you. That's how protected I am. And women and children really, or innocent people are. Innocent people. People who inflict harm, intentionally inflict harm, you're not protected. You're the epidemic. You're the worms. Is what's going to get exterminated. So Tiffany, this is for Tiffany. This is for Erica Easler. Erica Easler. Met her at a very young age. This was my best friend / brother's daughter. She had a lot of problems with drugs. She steals, name it. Me and her, like I said, I didn't understand what was going on with her, what was really going on with her. I just knew she was angry. You could tell she was trying to come out of that. She we had so many talks, and she would get jobs and she'd clean herself up, and I couldn't figure out why she kept relapsing and why she kept losing her jobs, and why I just couldn't figure out what it was. She kept stealing from me, so eventually I had to stop trying to help her. But take her to job interviews, take her to and from work, whatever she needed to get away from this situation. When I found out that before she turned, I don't think she was 21 yet. Don't remember how old she was. When I saw I'm gonna call him Big E. When he had goons. He'd take people in, take care of them, get him to do his dirty work for him. He had like a rob crew. He'd send them out breaking in houses. I always wondered where he kept getting all this stuff from. Oh, people just love me. They just give it to me. Like I said, I didn't find out really how deep this stuff went. There's a dude named, his name was, I'm not going to use their names because I don't know if this one dude's in prison or not, but he really is a killer. His name starts with the W. Supposedly, he's been brought to trial, but he has so much fear. And he killed his dad's dogs to rob him. He robs his own family. Thankfully, I was on his good side. But, like I said, I kind of felt like I saw them doing coke with her. And when I started coming around when I was 16, I refused to do cocaine. I like smoking weed. That's all I like to do. They were lacing them, drugging your drinks. I didn't know. That's when I started feeling weird, I started buying my own drinks. Even before I was 21, I could get in the liquor store. You just had to know how to handle yourself in the ghetto. You just had to know how to say it. You had to say it like you've been doing it. Carry yourself like you're confident. Anyway. Like I said, a lot of these things would happen. Like I said, I knew it was weird and wrong, but I'm really trying to figure this out. Especially after I got assaulted by this dude, Casey, who bragged about being my first. You bragged about being a rapist, you sick fuck. And he, on my Facebook, he's been following me. I block him. He gets new pages. Just stays taunting me. I don't think he does anymore because I called him out on Facebook. Sick. Just sick. They drug women. That's what they do. And they rob them. And they do things to them while they're passed out. Or force themselves upon them. Or try to trap them in the bathroom 2 at a time. I fought like hell. That was when I really started to realize that the main leader was my best friend. That's when I found out I could fight. That's the only time I've ever hit somebody. I think. Besides my brother. But I really just mainly tackled him. I didn't really... No, it's not the only time. It's one of the very few times I've swung. I guess I had a mean right hook, I believe. Like I said, when your life is on the line, you will have skills and things that you didn't even know you had. Back to Erica. So, as I'm undercover investigating, because yes, like I said, I found him and his 2 main goons doing cocaine with her. I told him, he didn't act surprised. So that's when I figured it out. And yeah, I did start eventually doing cocaine because I didn't pay for it. I would never pay for it. No. Just knew who to hang around to, you know, they would offer it. I didn't know sex was expected in return, you know, and that's when I would, you know, say no. Like, they'd be like, I'll give you the rest of this if you... I'd be like, oh, no, I'm cool. I said, I got my smoke. I can just smoke and go to sleep. I'm just doing this for fun and to get close to these motherfuckers. Because I'm trying to figure out what's really going on. It's just a lot of drive-bys and a lot of assassinations and a lot of break-ins and motherfuckers breaking in his house, destroying his stuff. And you could tell people were even like telling on him. He was getting somebody to take the fall. Like I said, I'm piecing out. It took me a long time to piece this together because I didn't realize who he was. And Miss Erica, like I said, she had a lot of outbursts. And I needed to know why. I knew there was a reason. I recognized trauma. And so I asked her, I remember one time she was in a rage. I'd come pick her up. She got herself in a fucked up situation. I told her, here I come. I'm coming for you. And I remember one time she was so angry about something, she's just screaming. She would always scream. She would never, like, really, I mean, I don't, it was one of the moments she was really, like, hysterical. And I just looked at her. I think I was talking to her about stealing from me for the last time or something. And I just remember her freaking out. And I just told her, I said, who did this to you? Who has you so angry? Who hurt you? You can tell me. I got you. This is what I'm here for. I'd give her whatever she needed to get herself out of it. We would have so many talks. And I knew she was in there. And she would say to me, my daddy. So that's all I needed to know. But I needed to know from him. So like I said, he'd always come up with these business deals and we'd go in together on stuff to make some money. I was about money. He was supposedly a hustler. You know, so I'm like, yeah, come on. But the money would always, or the product would always be, Erica stole it. Like I said, there's so many lies and they're like, all this stuff is happening. And I'm finding out that one situation I was over there was this dude who liked me, one of their cousins, and this chick, they were a couple. They were trying to get me to do a threesome with them. And but one night I was feeling it and I was like, okay, me and them went somewhere. The chick, she was cool. We started kissing. She's kissing me with one hand, robbing me in the other. I noticed my money on my wallet was slick ricked. I went in. I knew they stole it. They tried to act like they didn't. Well, come to find out, dude and the girl broke up. This was like a couple years later. My bro told me, oh, Mark said how sorry he was for what he did and wants to make amends and this and that. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Mr. E said he was gonna take care of it, right? He's gonna get my money back. Okay. So, like I said, all these situations would happen when I would go over there. I'd go away for a while because I'm plotting, you know. Like I said, it was a lot of suspicion. There was no real actual, even though I knew. So, I finally get to talking to him like a couple years later after it happened. And you know when people are lying. And he was like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I've been feeling you. He said that was all. He was like, I knew about it after the fact. He said because Earl put my girl up to it. Or Mark could have, but I don't believe he's lying about that. Because he ended up giving me my money. That's who gave me my money back. And I was like, oh, you're giving me my money back. And then, like I said, you can tell when people have a surprised look on their face. When I told them about, oh, you said you were, how sorry you were. Like I said, he wanted to keep everybody separated. He didn't want you really talking. But I guess them two had a falling out because Mark found out that Earl was trying to basically set him up. He's like, no, have these parties and have these women come over and around so he could drug them, get them messed up, drug them, put like a sleeping pill in there. Because I would notice, for me, is how I know he was putting something in a drink. Because when I have my drinks, I'm good. Like, I don't feel all out of control. When I take drinks from him, I'm like woozy and dizzy and I need to sleep it off. And then I would always feel weird. A couple times I was so drowsy, I would feel somebody playing with me. And I would see his face, but it was like he would always make it out to be like it was Casey or somebody else and that he kicked him out. So I wouldn't see him for a while. But then they'd come back around and I'm like I said, 2 and 2 was 4. He had a lot of creepers. People down in the basement. He'd send me down to the basement to get something. And there'd be somebody just randomly down there trying to fuck me. Come up behind me and grab me from behind. What? Every time. And he played the savior. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I already had it twisted. Like I said, I'm there for investigation, but I'm really starting to really see what's really going on. But what he did to, anyway, back to Mark, what he was doing to Erica. This is really graphic material. It's going to be very hard to hear. So if you have, I get it if you want to stop it from here. It's pretty graphic. It's pretty, probably may have seen it on a movie, but before or seen, you know, if you watch true crime. This man was had not only been sexually assaulting his daughter. He took her in when she was little. I knew it. Groomed her. I knew it. She was the little girl I saw on the porch why I even started hanging out with these people. When I met this man at 16 years old, he came talking to me and my friend. We ended up walking down the street. We had no idea what the ghetto was. We were at the deaf club. She was real big in the deaf community, and I was learning sign language. I was like, hey, along for the ride. She was my first friend. I thought was my friend. You know what I mean? So I was down for whatever. I'm out. I had no idea. I was so sheltered. I stayed to myself. But I was still smart. I wouldn't leave with strangers when she wanted to. You know, I would say no and mean no and leave. You know, I didn't stick around. I didn't I was doing cocaine with them. But I never got to the point where I was like waking up wanting it. You know what I mean? Like if I remember she would pay for it and then she started like trying to say, you need to start putting in on this. I'm like, no, I'm good. Like I'm working for my mission. Like the money I was making was for myself. And my supporting my mission, paying the homeless for their stories, talking to homeless vets, paying them, bringing them food, buying, you know, if they need to go somewhere. I'm skipping school in high school to take them if they need to go places. You know, if I see needy kids in the street, they need shoes, school supplies because their parents are too fucked up. I want to, what size shoes you need? Let's go. And the parents were so oblivious to the kid. I could take them to the store shopping. They wouldn't even know they were gone for 3 hours. I'd take them to go get them something to eat. You know, wherever I worked, if I worked at a food place, we were able to bring like the pizza home. I didn't realize how bad pizza was at the time to yourself, but I would bring the kid, I'd bring the pizza down there and let him eat. Chicken, whatever. That's where my money was going. I didn't care to buy money for drugs. I mean, yeah, get my bottle, but that was, like I said, then stuff just started spiraling from there. And when I met with Tiffany, when I was telling you about dude, the one I got away from, I met him, and he basically, that's one thing he did do. When he found out I was doing cocaine, he told me it was the cocaine or him, and of course I chose him. So he used that. You would have been he used to call me a crackhead all the time. And it wasn't even like I'd do it like that. Like, I could do a couple lines and be good. I have my, I would never, I knew this chick would do an 8-ball like it's nothing in a night and keep going back. I'm like, damn, no, I'm good. Anyway, so it was really nothing for me to stop. I just woke up one day, was like, I don't like feeling like this. I don't like staying up all night. That was back when it was really good, so you wouldn't go to sleep. No amount of marijuana. You'd have to smoke like 6 blunts to go to sleep. That's how good this stuff was back when I was doing it. Like I'd say, 2003-ish, 2004. Anyway, this was saying, I'm just confessing this stuff. Like, I even started smoking cigarettes to get close to people. Like I said, the more you do with them, the easier it is to get information. They just spit it all out, spew it all out. And I'm finding out that he was having a sexual relationship with his daughter. I knew they were sharing a room. It was weird. I'd see them, I'd come over and they'd be in the bed together. Which, okay, I guess, but she wouldn't have barely any clothes on when she would get up. It would just be, like I said, I'm like, okay. And Mark had said that he would see condoms, Mark would see condoms outside thrown outside of his bedroom door when she was there. And I think he would kick her out when she stopped wanting to do it and she had nowhere to go. Oh, I want to do so many things to this man because I know it's not a lie. Nobody believed me when I tried to tell everybody. I tried to tell the other daughter. There was another stepdaughter. When Erica was beaten and left to die. The last I left her, she was on the road to recovery. I understand at the end of the day, she had a twisted sense. So that was, at the end of the day, that was her father. So somehow he'd get her back in. He'd use her as bait for men. He'd pimp her out so his goons would come in and rob him. That's why people would find him. He would blame Erica. Just made her out to just trash her name to me. She was, and it was him. He did that to her. He took her out of foster care. This is what he does to people. He uses the women, tries to breed with them, or he uses them as nannies, or, like I said, it's a whole sick system. It's even deeper than that. And I know he had something to do with his own daughter's death. I know whoever was with her, I know he told them to do that to her. I know it. He may not have meant to die, but they beat her so bad and tossed her out on the road 2 miles from a hospital. I know he did it. He's never gonna, I've witnessed him take a baseball bat to his own cousin because he was standing up for himself. Seen him call people to have people beat. I just kept coming back because I needed to do something. He needed to be stopped, but he was so methodical. Every time I thought I had him, there was somebody there to take the fall. He would always, I remember, this is before something would happen, he'd always whisper something in somebody's ear. Like, it's just, like I said, a lot of weird stuff. And I stuck around because I wanted to hear him say what he did to her. He grieves her. And everybody's still around him like it's... like he's the greatest guy. I know he had his daughter beaten and thrown out like nothing. That's his MO. His baby mama Bree. Every single one of his baby mamas is underage. He is in his late 50s. Okay, he was like 35, and so I'm trying to mess with 16-year-olds. Okay, met his baby mama. She was 16. She was underage. Real sweet girl. Got her on drugs. You know, she's all, probably killed her self-esteem. I don't really know her whole story, but I do know he beat the fuck out of her. Kept trying to get her to get away. That's like I said, the kids, they had kids together. And, she called me hysterical one night. Hysterical, he's gonna kill me, he's gonna kill me, Kelly. And I said, you need to call the police, man. In the middle of while it's happening. So I get down there. He's in a rage. She's out in the car, hysterical. Got her, can't remember where the baby was. Oh, in the back seat. He's in a rage in the house. I'm trying to calm him down. Everything's destroyed. Tables flipped up, broke, things broke. She's hysterical, saying he was gonna kill me. And I know he's a violent man. I know what he did to her. I'm concerned about the kids at this point. And he ended up turning on that charm, getting her to go talk or something. I can't remember exactly where they end up going. I end up watching the baby. There was another baby there. Because when I pulled up, there was a baby crawling out of the front door. I don't even know whose baby this was. I just saw a baby about to fall off the step. I caught the baby. It's like a ghost town, and that's when I'm carrying his baby around, and then I'm seeing him, baby's diapers full of piss. I don't have any diapers. I don't have nothing. I got this baby. I don't know whose baby it is. I don't remember where they ended up going, But I ended up I had the baby. And then I kept their baby. So I had 2 babies on my hips. While all this is going on, the cops show up, see me with these children, and I explain the situation. And finally, I figured out whose baby it was and was able to get in. Somebody was able to get in touch with the mom. She was at work. Her baby's father was supposed to be watching the baby. He left the baby with the uncle. God only knows where he was going. And I'm glad I was there, because I was the force field of protection for those babies at that time. And I'll just never forget the cries and the screams and it's a lot. May not have been at war, may not have been a soldier in any war for the government and the rich, but I've definitely been on the ground being a soldier, battling this war on evil in our own country every day. And I used to think I wasted my life. I didn't waste it. I'm a force. Just like I said, this individual, E, is just a horrible individual. One specific evening, then I'm gonna kind of end it there, because I've been, I've shared enough. We're all hanging out, and I would never really I would stay a little bit, but I always knew when it was just time to go. Like but he would always pressure me into taking somebody home. That's why I would always try to leave too, without saying anything. Like I said, I needed to know what was really real down there. And I'm mad at myself too for going back, but I'm not, because then again, I wouldn't know the hidden pits of hell that people experience. So I can fix it with my mission. One person at a time. I tried to take it all on, 1,000 people at a time. Not really, but I'm just saying, like, I put so much pressure on myself that I destroyed myself in the process. Like I said, the only way to truly get good judgment is with poor judgment. And again, it's all stems back to what you're even capable of developmentally wise. You don't even develop your frontal core, and your brain doesn't even finish developing until 25 to 28 years of age. And they deem you an adult at 18. You don't even grow some sort of impulse control until age 7. Yet they start kindergarten at age 5 and diagnose all these kids with ADHD, lack of focus, when they're forcing all this information down, when kids are just trying to still experience and their awareness that they're even a part of this big world. And here they are shoving letters and memorization and all this. They're not able to explore. They have to sit still for what? However many hours a day to be programmed this senseless knowledge, and then deemed ADHD, autistic. Like I said, I feel like there's, if it's a different mindset or a different way of learning, there's something wrong with them. So they have to label them something. Oh, let's pump them full of big pharma drugs. Instead of, we already know how the mind works. They already know all of this because they've studied it. And that's my problem with everything. They know this. This is the information we should be learning about in school in depth, is about how we develop and how we function and how life is really, how important nature and life really is. There's been, and not that money rules everything, so they created a false system. Like, oh, we talk about that. This is supposed to be about domestic violence. Anyway, one of the very last times I went down there, this dude, his name, he calls himself Hellguwop, HELLGUWOP is what his Facebook is. Oh, he thinks he's a man of God. He's, he's making his money, probably robbing people. But I'm noticing in these situations where I'm ended up fighting for my life or some weird shit would happen, Mr. E would always whisper something in their ear before. But he ended up convincing me to take this dude home. He was going to pay me $20. Dude is in the car. He starts touching on my leg. And I take his hand away and I'm like, I'm cool. I don't look at you like that. Oh, he didn't like that. He just kept touching me. And I said, can you get out? You got to get out. I don't want you touching me. Don't touch me. Oh, that's when he started getting really pissed off. And he started, at one point, started punching me in my face. And I'm like, I have my elbow and I'm just like blocking him, man. I'm just blocking it. He got me a few times. And he's like, basically he's trying to take over. He's trying to kill us. He's trying to take over, control the vehicle, but somehow I managed to keep this mother. I don't know how. But I fought for my life, and I'm here telling everything. He's trying to take over the wheel, but somehow I just kept the wheel, cool. I ended up being able to get to a gas station, and he told me he was gonna carjack me and rape me when he got back to his apartment anyway. I pulled into this gas station after, he's just going in on me. Telling me I'm all kinds of bitches and I'm, all kinds of stuff as he's trying to really do something, like kill me. And I told him, I pulled up at this gas station. This is the only time I've been grateful what police are around. Is I pulled up at that gas station and I said, if you don't get your motherfucking ass, get your bitch ass out of my car right now, I will. Do you really think that he's gonna believe you over me? Get the fuck out of my car or I really do something to you in front of this police officer, and I'm gonna get away with it. I know he was put up to that. Like I said, he's part of because when I went and told told him what happened, there's people who, you can't fake a surprised face. When you just, I just can't believe it. What? Like, that fake-ass tone, you knew you did it. My first child is a product of a brutal assault. Come to find out, this is why I stopped mingling, too. I met this dude through a mutual friend who wasn't a part of. Well, come to find out, this guy brutally assaulted me. I drank too much. I entrusted him. He said, oh, you can sleep here. I don't want you driving home. I was like, no, I'll sleep in my car. Because I didn't know him like that. I didn't like him like that, really. I just was hanging out because I just was hanging out. He was too much. I didn't like him. So I ended up sleeping there because I really drank way too much. And wake up to him on top of me. And when I tried to fight back, he strangled me till I passed back out. I remember, I'll never forget the bruises in my neck and on my boobs, probably from the hickeys. I just finally let him. I woke up again. I remember he had flipped me over. And I just let him finish, fell back asleep so I was coherent enough to drive home. I looked myself in the mirror. And I remember I scrubbed myself. And when you've been raped, it fucks with you for the rest of your life. I still sometimes feel like I smell. Like, I remember I kept going to the doctor one time, swearing up and down I had BV, that something was wrong. I kept swearing up and down. And every time I wouldn't have it. And finally the doctor sat me down and she asked me, she said, "Have you been sexually assaulted before?" And I just lost it. We talked about it. That's when I realized what sexual assault really was. And she explained to me that that's a result from that. Took me years and years and years to finally feel clean. To finally even understand that the mind really can play tricks on you when there's been trauma. When you have experienced, especially multiple, I haven't experienced multiple pretty much throughout my whole lifetime. I've had traumatic event after traumatic event. I've worked for toxic, abusive people who are controlling. My father is controlling. My brother, my oldest brother, I don't even like calling him that. He's a sick fuck. You know what I mean? I didn't have much of a chance, but I'm still not out here inflicting my harm on other people. I'm still not out here going out here looking for confrontation and shooting up schools and shooting up rob. I'm still not out here doing that. So really you can't tell me you don't have control at some point. You are in control. You're choosing to harm others. You're choosing to project your pain onto others. You're choosing it. The second you go to harm somebody else, the second you violate a child because you were touched, or you violate somebody else because you were violated, is the moment your story becomes irrelevant. And I'm tired of the violators and the predators. They do it for fun and enjoyment, as a high. Not because they're poor me, pity me. There's no remorse. It's fake. Okay? We need to stop feeling mercy for predators. Mercy isn't real. Especially, again, against soul violations. There's a difference between human error, and I'm talking intentional manipulation, intentional harm upon others. Again, there is a huge difference between that and human error. Because again, once you understand development and things, you do learn a lot of grace. But there's no grace for predators. Not a one. There is no rehabilitation for molesters. There is no such thing as rehabilitation for a predator. Once a predator, always a predator. It has to be in you. Not buying any psychological... I understand how the mind works. Again, you still have a choice. Somewhere in there is the power of the choice. You chose. You consciously make a decision to hunt children and women, to rape them, to molest children. Your story isn't valid, you will pay. And you should be behind bars for the rest of your life. I feel like there's a plea deal for predators because it goes into the intentional selection towards the rigged system. Why else do a lot of sexual predators get plea deals? Why do they get second chances? Why is there support groups for them? You're literally calling free speech and you're giving predators and sex offenders slaps on the wrist because the judges and the prosecutors and things like that must commit the same crime, so they wouldn't want to be put behind bars. The laws are going to change. If you violate a soul, you murder a soul, you alter them for life. You should be serving life behind bars. No eligibility for parole. And if you're a vigilante, like if you protect a life, you are not a criminal. You are a warrior. You are a chosen one. And that's really, like I said, the movie Enough with Jennifer Lopez is a really good, like I said, and I'm not saying copy movies, and I know movies are scripts and things like that, but it still has a lot of good insight of how to handle it. Don't live in fear. Take your defenses back. Learn how to fight. Learn how to shoot. I studied the arteries, anatomy in the body, learn where the arteries were. I'm real handy with the knife. I'm going to learn how to shoot. That's my next thing. You know, I'm not a twisted individual. It'll only be in defense. I'm not going to go out, use it because somebody cut me off. Or, you know, I'm not just going to go out here and be a vigilante. I'm not going to take the law into my own hands. Will I do everything necessary if I do witness somebody harming a child? Absolutely, every time. I don't run away from things. I go towards it. I will go I just do. I'm not society's been trained to turn blind eyes, mind their business because they're financial slaves. They don't have time. They have to get to work. Or they lose their house. Who really has time to, I mean, I get it. But it's going to change. It all starts with you. Believing in yourself. Literally. Believing the power is within you and that you will figure it out. Come up with your plan. Defense. First and foremost, try to remove that fear. Like, name your wish. Get to the point where you wish somebody would put their hands on you. I've had guns pulled on me. Like I said, I've experienced every kind of ugly and darkness that's out there. I've had police officers pull their guns on me. I had one put it right in my face. And I told him that the next time he does that, he needs to pull the trigger. Don't pull it on somebody unless you plan to use it. And they made me stay at a location. I'm going to talk about that another time. But I'm just saying, like, you're strong. Look at all the things that you've been through and you're still here. You are not a waste. You are not whatever insult they're putting in your brain. We allow feedback in, grace, love. We push out the insults. Who cares? Because it's all lies. Beauty is beauty. The reason why you can't look in the mirror is because of they're inside of your head. I promise you, it's Stockholm Syndrome. It's not you. Being brainwashed and is real. Stockholm Syndrome is real. And it can happen to anybody, slowly but surely. They don't pick you because you're weak. They pick you because you're strong, and they slowly but surely find your weak spots. Like I said, from now on, if I meet somebody new, which I don't, I'm going to be very, I'm not going to be so desperate for a refuge. I created the refuge inside of me. I removed that desire. I desire myself. I'm obsessed with myself. However I look, whatever, dry face, whatever. I love myself in every stage of my life because my body has been through a lot. So I'm not going to sit here and spend one more second criticizing my rolls. When I see my rolls in the mirror, I'm like, hey, baby. And I rub on myself. I touch myself. I touch my rolls. I grab my rolls. Am I going to try to get healthy weight distribution? Absolutely. I'm going to continue on. But in my next video, I'm going to talk about negligence in hospitals. But I have to take a break because I have to go to the bathroom at the gas station just to get, because I was going to be talking about some pretty triggering things. And I didn't want my daughter to come out and hear it, you know. So she's up talking to her friends. She's so funny. But the next video is gonna be about negligence in hospitals and me just speaking about that. So I know this is extra long. And yeah, the power is within you. And sometimes, like my nose. Oh, we're gonna address all that. All right. Domestic violence. Cut it out. Better figure out, yeah. Days of people using hands as a form of communication or intimidation or just in general. Because you don't have to you don't have to put your hands on somebody in order to be abuse. Granted, verbal abuse and things like that, like, comes with your development. It depends on your life and your development, how capable at the time you're able to even push those words out. Because if you're already unaware that you already have a twisted sense of loyalty, it's gonna get in your head because things have already been in your head, and it's gonna eventually slowly tear you down. And again, it stems from childhood. Anyway, take this in. It's a lot. Good night. For now.